This is Kits and Wagers. I am Adam Zdroik, joined by Chris Owen. We are back. We're talking game week 6 in the Premier League as we watch the Leicester City Manchester United game. If you have been watching us, we bet on that match, and Chris is hoping for a Leicester City goal here, so he has a chance for double chance. But Chris, how's it going? Thursday afternoon. Everything's coming fast and heavy here, and we got the transfer deadline that ends in like 2 hours. So a lot of stuff is going on right now.
Doing well, Adam. Good to see you again. We last chatted earlier this week. Been quite a few matches, some interesting results, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to get on the horn here and talk about some Premier League. We've got Manchester United, Leicester City going on in the background here. Leicester looked pretty poor to start the first half, but in the whole first half, and frankly, they've come out a little bit better in the second half. But I got my Jamie Vardy Leicester City kit on right now, just kind of trying to speak it into fruition here. But yeah, I think United's probably going to come away with this one. But wouldn't mind a Leicester City goal here, a couple goals. Anyways, what's going on with you this week?
Yeah, so I put on Ajax here just because Antony signed for Manchester United, so I put that on just for the kicks. But I wore the Manchester United kit 1 or 2 months ago. So sorry, 1 or 2 weeks ago. Sorry, I can't even think right now. I got like minimal COVID going on. I'm trying to work it out, but let's get into this. We have an extremely busy Saturday. If you're looking on the screen, this is our sports betting page, RotoWire.com, soccer, hit sports betting, and there's 8 matches on Saturday. That's just what happens. We have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday matches, and now we have 8 matches on Saturday, and then we have a ton of some derbies. We're going to be talking about some derbies, in fact. And then we got Manchester. We're going to be giving bets for Manchester United, Arsenal, even though they're playing right now. That's how I don't know what the word I want to use for that is. Maybe that's how stupid we are. Something like that.
Speak for yourself.
All right. So this first match, the derby, Everton home against Liverpool. Liverpool this has gone a lot of places, but they're minus 255 to win. Everton plus 700, and then the draw currently is plus 400. And as usual with Liverpool matches, over 2.5 goals is minus 170. Over 3.5 plus 145. Under 2.5 goals is plus 135. So the implied goal total there is sitting just above 3. Liverpool is your squad, so are you going with them to win this one?
I wouldn't say I'm super confident, but like Everton have just been kind of grinding out draws last couple games. I feel okay about it. This is at Anfield, correct?
No.
It's at the
Okay,
it's at Goodison.
Yeah.
Either way, yeah, I mean these matches are always pretty testy, and I was watching that Everton Leeds match earlier this week, and just watching Anthony Gordon, who's actually like a really fun player to watch, but he is just like will wind anybody up. He'll get in people's faces. He's fun to watch when he scores, but I think specifically he's just like one of those guys who can kind of be like a flashpoint type of player. I would love if DraftKings had yellow card bets here. I couldn't find it today, but I would love to take an Anthony Gordon yellow card bet out somewhere. But yeah, I think my bet here is Liverpool to win, and I think was it over under 3.5, which I think is
3.5.
So I mean, you take Liverpool money line and under 3.5 goals, which when you look in the past year, I mean, it's been their last season they won. Liverpool won 2-0 and 4-1, but the season before it was 2-0, 2-2, and like even going back to like the past probably 5 or 6 years, a lot of these games are like 1-0, 2-0, those types of matches, 2-1. So I think Liverpool away here, they definitely need another result. They haven't been convincing aside from that 9-0 Bournemouth win. They weren't convincing against Newcastle. And I think they can win this one, but I just don't, under 3.5 goals seems like a pretty safe bet.
Yeah, unless Everton allow 5 goals, but
I don't think they will. I mean, you look at what they've done in the past couple matches here: 1-1 against Leeds, 1-1 against Brentford, and 1-1 against Nottingham. So they haven't even gone over 3 goals in a match yet this season. So that part of it feels pretty safe, but we just need Liverpool to come out and get all 3 points here.
Yeah, I agree. I have a different bet in my article, and so I'm taking a different route. But I did just pull up Anthony Gordon's stats. He has a yellow card in 3 straight matches.
Yeah.
He's averaging 2 fouls a match, so that's 10 fouls committed in 5 matches. So I'm sure he might even be favored for a yellow card. I don't know. He could be like one plus maybe 140, 150 or
That's
something.
what I'm saying. This seems like an easy bet to take about a yellow card bet.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just going with, yeah, I just think both teams are going to score. Everton are putting up fights, and like Anthony Gordon's getting goals. There's a chance Neil Maupay is in there for Everton. He actually gives Everton a true striker that can actually score, not like Solomon Rondon. And Calvert-Lewin hasn't played yet this season because of injury. So I think there's a decent chance he starts. He wasn't even registered. There's a whole ordeal with Maupay being registered for the game early in the week because Monday of this week was a holiday in England, and they signed him on Friday, so they couldn't register him. But anyways, he's had probably a full week of training with Everton now, so I think he's going to start, and I think that's a definite boost for him. So that gives him another piece up front, but. There's a chance Joel Matip starts, but I'm not going to put too much into that. Jordan Henderson probably won't be available with a hamstring injury. So there's another injury to Liverpool's midfield. So you got the injuries building up. You got possible rotation for Liverpool because Champions League is coming up. So I just think that both teams, this isn't going to be a scoreless draw. Let's get that right. Like Liverpool don't play in scoreless draws. So I think there's a chance it's like, similar to what happened in Newcastle match, like maybe Everton get an early one and then Liverpool fight back, get one kind of thing. But I think both teams are scoring, and minus 120, not too bad of odds. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, it could have easily been 2 goals for Newcastle the other day. I mean, Isak was in twice. He had the one called off for offsides. That was like, this close. So I don't disagree with you here. I do think that in regards to Neil Maupay, like, I feel like that's the kind of striker that Liverpool tend to dominate. It's like the pacey players who get in behind where they can play balls, like through like splitting the 2 center backs is what really gives them a lot of trouble. So I still think that I would personally. I mean, I'm obviously not Frank Lampard here, but I think those are the type of players that really give the backline trouble. But yeah, I definitely don't disagree that like both teams might actually score here, but I do think Liverpool comes away with it.
So, I mean, if you don't agree with that, you're going Liverpool 3-0. Is that what the route is? 3-0, 2-0?
Just the way that Everton have 3 straight 1-1 draws, like they're playing teams in pretty tough. So
Mhm.
I don't think I'm going them Liverpool on a route here. Maybe 2-0, 1-0, something pretty close. But it'll be interesting too because Liverpool's getting Darwin Nunez back from suspension. It's crazy. I feel like that happened like a week ago, and here we are. It's been 3 matches, and he'll be back likely in the starting 11. I mean, Bobby Firmino's been really good, but I still think if they can get Darwin Nunez in there, he's just kind of like a wrecking ball, and that he should start. Like, could really give James Tarkowski and Connor Cody some trouble. I mean, as long as he stays out of the book, but. We'll
Looks like
see.
we got a
Yeah,
jokester that's watching saying Everton 5-0. So there's
started
Anthony.
watching the Premier League last week, maybe, so that's okay.
Wow. All right. So the next match we have Brentford at home. They're plus 115 to beat Leeds. Leeds are plus 240, and the draw is plus 250. Over 2.5 goals is minus 140. Under 2.5 goals plus 110. And I think both of these teams just had late, maybe not the Leeds Everton match ended in a 1-1 draw. Maybe that one wasn't late, but I know the Brentford one, they got one late at Crystal Palace. So 2 teams coming off 1-1 results. And Brentford at home. Do you think Brentford are going to take this one plus 115?
In my bet, I'm not taking Brentford, but they are much better at home than they are away, I think. Leeds are playing everybody tough. What are they, like 5th in the league currently? So they're they obviously just drew Everton 1-1, but they've got a win over Chelsea. They've got a couple other pretty key results here this season, and I think they can definitely go in there. I am a little concerned. I didn't see what happened. I mean, I saw the injury to Rodrigo yesterday, but I didn't see what the extent of it is. So it sounds like he's probably out this week. Luis Sinistera, I'm probably butchering that, but he'll likely come into the starting 11. And Patrick Bamford did come off the bench and maybe ready for some more minutes here this week. So that's a big boost to their attack. I think that I just like the way Leeds are playing. They're like pretty much pressing the heck out of everyone. And Brentford are, they definitely have let up a few goals this season. So what I'm going to do here with my bet is I think it's actually a parlay for a bet. So this is, we're getting a little bit zany here on our second podcast of the week, but I took Leeds or tie or Leeds, which is basically essentially double chance, and over 1.5 goals at -120. So you're combining two different bets here, but I like the -120 odds. You get a win or a draw out of Leeds. And then, likely if they win or draw, it's going to be probably, 2-0, 2-1, whatever. So you're just getting that over 1.5 and you get okay odds here.
This is an incredible bet. Leeds double chance and over 1.5 goals. This is straight from DraftKings. They're just supplying us with all these parlays that take away value. If you actually put those two bets together, I think I did it. It came out at +108. So they're taking a few bucks away from you there, but
yeah, you got to go elsewhere to find that though than DraftKings. I couldn't do it on my end.
Yeah, that's
how
they get you. You can't do the parlays like that.
Exactly.
But yeah, in terms of Leeds, there's a chance Patrick Bamford starts. There's a chance Daniel James plays forward. There's a chance Joe Gelhardt starts again up front for him. Sinistera, he came in on the wing for Daniel James last match. But the other thing is Pontus Jansson could be back for Brentford. He's a better center back than Zanka. But I think you meant you're going over 1.5 goals. You mentioned how Leeds are going to press. This match is going to be up and down. It's going to be almost the opposite of how these teams played midweek. Like Brentford Crystal Palace was just kind of grinded out kind of a game. Leeds Everton kind of wanted to slow that one down, which for the most part they did. Almost got the win. But okay, maybe they didn't slow it down.
It was pretty back and forth.
Maybe they didn't slow it down that much, but I think there's just going to be goals in this one. You're not getting a ton of value here. Over 2.5 goals, -130. It's probably one of my worst value plays here in this, but I just like it. I think there's going to be goals. Brentford at home. I know they had did they have the 1-1 result against Everton as well at home? I think Everton's playing all these teams 1-1, so I'm just getting a mixed up.
Yeah, it was 1-1 at home. Everton.
Okay.
So Everton tied Leeds 1-1 midweek, and then at the weekend they tied Brentford 1-1. So both.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because Zanka got blown past by Anthony Gordon. Now I'm remembering.
Anthony Gordon has some wheels, man. That guy's got some speed to him.
Yeah. So I figure this one to be pretty up and down. Brentford, both teams allow mistakes on the back line. They have mistakes on the back line. Similar to Leicester, they had a massive mistake against Manchester United today, allowing that first goal. It was pretty bad if you've seen the goal, but over 2.5 goals, I think it's pretty safe. I think I'm not going with the side. Leeds could pull this win out, but I'd probably lean on the Brentford side if I had to pick a side, but I'll stick with the total here.
Okay, so you're inherently on my side here because you need the over 1.5 to get to 2.5, but
somewhat.
Yeah, I will say that Everton Leeds match, man. Jack Harrison took, I don't know, I think Leeds had 10 corners, and like 4 of those corners made it past the first man. It was like the service was just abysmal. So I'm looking for maybe Brendan Aronson to take a couple of those set pieces to get it like into the box. Actually, it was wild.
Isn't he on left-sided and then Harrison's on right-sided, or maybe it's flipped?
Could be. I'm not sure. All I know is like the service, they kept they got 10 corners alone, and they got like none of them into the box. It was they bring the center backs up. Pascal Zdroik's coming up. They got all their pieces up there to get in the mix, and none of those balls made it, and it was crazy.
Yeah, I'm looking at the box score of his last match, and Everton didn't even use a sub. which
No, Frank
is,
Lampard was like, no, I like what we got going for the full 90.
I mean, it's going to change. It's going to
It's gonna
change with
be
Maupay, and they added back Idrissa Gueye, but I mean, it's just funny that just like midweek match, no subs, even though you can
it's
use 5 of them.
it's gonna be like Stevie Gerrard gets sacked at Aston Villa like in the next like 3 weeks, maybe, depending on what happens this weekend, especially against Manchester City. If they get blown out, he might get sacked. But then like Everton, I mean, they're kind of grinding out wins, but if they can't, or grinding out draws here, but if they can't get a win, it might be Lampard, Stevie G just sacked within like a month. It's like might be kind of interesting.
Maybe we'll see. You might be going over the top here. I don't know. They're adding all these
I'm
guys
just
for him.
saying. I'm just saying. Neither are in a particularly good place.
I don't think Everton have been terrible.
No. I mean, I'd say they, for their expectations and their team, they've been better than Aston Villa.
Oh yeah, Aston Villa have been a bit of a mess, but then they struggled and then they hit that rough patch. But
And they got to
so
go to
this,
Manchester City this weekend, right?
yeah. So this next match we're talking about, we only had 2 options on Sunday. It was Brighton home against Leicester City, Manchester United home against Arsenal. And we didn't have an option where we could talk about a team that wasn't playing. And this was basically one of the only times that worked for us to do the show. So here we are. And we're talking Manchester United, who, let's have a look here. Looks like Leicester are still pushing Manchester United 1-0 in the 72nd minute. I don't know if you've been watching much, but it seems like in the second half, I'm just looking off the game logs that Leicester are actually playing better and pushing a little bit more here. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely improved a little bit. I mean,
Not that you're
chat here, but
watching.
it's definitely on in the background.
Yeah, like they brought in Manchester United they just brought in Ronaldo, but Casemiro was getting his first minutes, I believe. I don't think he came off the bench last match, but he came on for Elanga. So they're definitely going a little more defensive, trying basically to hold on to this clean sheet here. So as we are watching that match, we're going to talk about Manchester United Arsenal. So here we go. Manchester United home plus. All right. Well, this line movement. Okay. Arsenal are slightly favored. I'm just there's so much red. There's all these numbers that are close together. All right, I got this.
Yeah. Hang in there.
Manchester United plus 170, Arsenal plus 165, and the draw is plus 255. I think that I don't know if these odds change live. Yeah, the last one we're getting here. I think there's a chance this actually swaps to Manchester United become a favorite. I think
Yeah,
that's a
they were
possibility.
before that game started. They were definitely not favored. Like, I think
Well,
Arsenal was
they're
like,
still
well,
not favored, but it's just getting
okay.
closer.
Yeah, interesting.
But over 2.5 goals minus 140, under 2.5 goals plus 115. So I say that because Manchester United could be on their way to 3 straight wins, and you look at Arsenal. There's a chance Aaron Ramsdale isn't ready. He felt something in his leg the other day. Still don't know about that. Don't think Odegaard is going to be ready to start. We already have Thomas Partey out, El Nani's out, Zinchenko's out, Tierney's been starting. So we have a bit of injuries for Arsenal. We don't know. There's a chance Ramsdale doesn't start, which changes their goalkeepers completely because they don't have Leno anymore. And then you change the front four. If Odegaard doesn't start, he's started the season really well, and maybe you move someone like Smith Rowe up there. So that's kind of the reasoning why I think Manchester United could move to a favorite, depending on what happens with injuries. But what's your first read on this game, just based off, no matter what, the odds are going to be pretty even here?
Yeah, I mean, first read is let's look at the home team. Who's playing at home? We always kind of try to do that because I feel like so many times I don't feel like I know that so often in the Premier League the home team typically pulls it out or gets a result. It's really hard to win away unless you're one of the top sides. So I mean, Arsenal right now are the top side. It's been really impressive to watch their kind of evolution over the last. I mean, going back to the beginning of last season when we thought Mikel Arteta might get sacked, to them, almost getting in the Champions League, and now like they're 3-0 or 5-0 here through their first part of the season. And despite all that, I still think United have also now looked really impressive. Despite the first 2 games of the season when they were kind of the laughing stock, but it's still Old Trafford, it's still Manchester United versus Arsenal, and I think that I like Manchester United here on the money line. It's going to be, if Aaron Ramsdale's out, a little bit bigger of a question mark because he's been really quality for them. But I think United, they've added added players like get Casemiro in there, and he's definitely a huge upgrade over whether it's Fred or Scott McTominay. He's a huge upgrade, and Jadon Sancho's starting to score goals. They got a lot of pieces up top, and I doubt Antony comes in and starts, but he could definitely add another layer of complexity in their attack for whether it's the second half or in the next match. But I'd like Manchester United money line, and I think I got them at, when I looked, it was like plus 160 plus. Yeah,
I'm kind of second guessing my bet here. Just as we're watching this play out here, it seems like Manchester United are just taking more of a defensive approach. Like they went at it in the first half. They had a few pretty good chances, and their goal came off defensive mistake really from Leicester. But like they got the goal in the second half. Maybe they're just trying to be more defensive because right now they have both McTominay and Casemiro in the squad. It's like, okay, Ten Hag's just like, okay, let's just get this win, kind of similar to what they did against Southampton. Held Liverpool to 1 goal. So, I'll stick with this bet. If we remember correctly, a few days ago, I had the ordeal of the over and under in this Manchester United Leicester City match, which I'm not going to say anything right now, but
did that, is that going to hit, or what was it under? I think it was over you took, right?
oh, it was definitely under, but I'm
Okay.
not going to say anything. I'm not saying anything.
Adam puts his
So,
bet up on the screen, and he's like, "Oh, really? Okay, I guess I gotta go with this one." But we'll see what happens. Got 13
hey,
minutes to hit
I
here.
gave a good reasoning for that one.
You did, definitely.
Now I'm going in the opposite, but I think so. I still think like this Arsenal attack is really rolling, and the loss of Odegaard hurts. It definitely hurts. We'll see. Gosh. Ah man, both teams to score no draw is a really tough bet to hit because you need at least 3 goals, and that's kind of the issue here. It should okay, over 2.5 goals is minus 140. All right, so let's just do it. Let's just do it's going to be a 2-1, 3-1 kind of result. The original reason I consider this bet was because of the Arsenal injuries and we got the short week. So I think that's going to hurt them a bit in the midfield. They've had some easier matchups to where it wasn't that big of a factor. They almost lost against Aston Villa. They almost lost against Fulham recently. I think that Casemiro in the midfield, that's a boost for Manchester United. And I think Manchester United will maybe control it. They're at home. This is a standalone match on Sunday. But the way that Ten Hag is playing has me a bit worried on this match. But I'll ride with it. Plus 130, both teams to score, no draw.
Nice. I think it's just tactics, though. They're up 1-0. They're playing away. They're not going to go out and keep sending people on
Well,
on
there's some
runs.
teams that don't do that though. That's what
Like Leicester City, they get up
yeah.
and then immediately concede 2 goals last 30 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, it's like you have I don't know, like how many teams like 1-0, like this is like a Tottenham route. It's like Tottenham 1-0. Like this wasn't a thing that Manchester United was doing, I don't know, the last few years because it
Yeah.
was like they either allowed a goal early or maybe they scored multiple goals, then they allowed one and kind of a thing. It just seems like they're playing maybe a little safer here. And from what I saw in the first half, obviously not watching the second half, they were possessing the ball pretty well. I don't know what it's been like in the second half. So
Yeah, same. Yeah, looking back here, Manchester United's definitely. I guess. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. Arsenal won 3-1 last year, and United won the first matchup 3-2. Otherwise, it's kind of been Arsenal or a draw. So, but that's just frankly been United over the past 3 years, been just kind of waffling. But it's like these are the 2 project FCs. Arsenal a little bit further along in their evolution, I guess, and in Manchester United are just going at it a different way. Like, let's throw a boatload of cash at it and see if it moves.
Well, I
But
mean, that's always their method.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, whatever, good for them. But I think it's just interesting to see them, and I'm. I mean, marquee matchup here will be fun to watch.
All right, we got the team parlay, and I figured out what was wrong, but there's nothing really I can do to fix it. So my record in the team parlay is 1-4. And so if you follow my article, and if you follow the show, I don't give any of the same bets out. So I usually write my article first. So my parlay is basically it comes after the three matches and it comes after my article. So it's basically like my ninth or 10th bet for the week. And there's nothing I can do to prevent that. Do you have any suggestions here on how, or should I just pick better parlay options? What do you think?
Yeah, I think last week I forget. I think my parlay hit, if I'm correct. Yeah, I had, but I think we went up to like plus 321 there, so maybe we like pack it in a little bit and just like find a closer one to get to that plus 200
Well,
bet. I'm not really
that's
sure.
not what we did this week.
Yeah, this I don't know. All I know is I picked a little. Yeah, not a interesting bet, but yeah, I don't know how to help you there. I mean, your bets are otherwise hitting. You're 9-5, and the parlays are the ones where you're like, all right, I throw a little less cash potentially and try to
Yeah,
make this work. So, um, yeah, I've got no way to help you. I'm sorry.
thanks. I
Thanks for
think
nothing,
I
Chris.
had the right idea because I picked no on both teams to score in West Ham and Tottenham. That match was Wednesday. And I had the right idea. I just should have went under 2.5 goals because it finished 1-1.
Yeah,
Uh,
one was
there's
an
an
own
own
goal.
goal, and
Yeah,
then West Ham got one late, and it just didn't happen. I had the right read on it. I knew how West Ham was going to want to play that game, but actually, speaking of, we haven't even mentioned we had a big back and forth of Bournemouth and Wolves last week. Like, what happened with your Wolverhampton team?
I mean, my it
Can we
wasn't
get an
my. I took the
analysis?
over. I took the over, and it didn't hit it obviously, but
Yeah, we had
it
we had
wasn't
some
like I was like
arguments.
Wolverhampton. We
We had
did.
some
It wasn't like I
argument.
was like I'm backing Wolverhampton. I was more or less saying that Bournemouth sucked, but they got a result. I mean, also not calculated into that was the fact that they sacked Scott Parker after 4 games. You
Yeah,
get the new manager bump. You're like, all right, I'm playing for my starting spot. Who's going to come in? What do they think of me? That's a big boost to these players. And I didn't foresee that coming. I'm not making excuses, but yeah, it was 0-0, and I was going to go over because Bournemouth had conceded so many dang goals. But Wolverhampton, to their credit, a team who doesn't score a lot of goals, doesn't concede a lot of goals, and Bournemouth, new manager boost got a result. So good for them.
yeah. So congrats to anyone who followed my picks because I think I had under 2.5 goals in this show. And then knowing both teams to score in my article, I really like that matchup. I pretty much hit spot on how Bournemouth were going to play, and they didn't look very good, but it was a scoreless draw.
Yeah.
So team parlay, you can see on the screen here we got this cheat sheet of all 10 matches, all 20 teams here. And I just put that up, rotowire.com/soccer trial. You get a free 10-day trial, but these are our cheat sheets, mostly used for DFS purposes, but you can get the entire Premier League weekend up for you. And that just leads me to, I guess I brought up Bournemouth because they're in my next bet here. So my pick is no on both Nottingham. No on both teams to score between Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth. That's plus 100. It seems like pretty good odds. Now that I say that, it seems like it's kind of a trick here. It has the lowest implied total of anyone at 2.62 for this weekend. Usually, when that happens, no one both teams to score is like minus 140. So something does not seem correct. Am I getting played on this one?
I don't know. You're a big Bournemouth guy, so maybe you're just going with your heart over your head here. I'm not sure.
I think Nottingham Forest they're gonna win. I have another bet on this in my article. Check that out once it comes out. But I think Bournemouth are gonna kind of take the same approach. They're gonna hope that they don't allow a goal, but I think uh, I didn't see enough from them in the attack, is what I'll say, and I haven't seen enough from Forest in their attack. And
They're
you
trying
have
out Dominic Solanke. Like he's not. he's not a Premier League striker. I'm just saying
You
that, but
you said Kiefer Moore was a championship striker that show.
I don't love
Now
their
you're
attack,
going
and
after
neither did Scott Parker
Solanke.
after the match. Scott Parker, he's their manager. He knows their players well. He's like, yeah, we haven't got enough investment. He's like, and then what? Basically, I mean, it didn't help that he lost 9-0, but it didn't help that he got out there after the match and was like, yeah, basically, the players that I have at my disposal are not very good. So, I mean, they're both not very good.
They added, who did they add? Forrest added Willie Boley,
Yeah,
which there you go. Good luck.
yeah.
Let me look at the depth chart real quick. I don't know. Oh,
Well, Adam's looking.
They added
I'm gonna.
Jack Stevens, a center back. So I think they're good now. They're good to go. Backup Southampton center back. Bournemouth are ready. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, fair bet here. Bournemouth can't score, so I feel this one in my bones. But other than that, aside from your bet, I'm adding to this parlay. We got some just below 300 odds, which makes it interesting. But I'm taking Man City this week. They're going to Aston Villa, I believe, and Aston Villa are they lost 2-1 to Arsenal, lost to West Ham, if I'm correct. They have not been good.
Aston Villa played Arsenal.
Yeah, last week, and then prior to that, they played West Ham.
Yes, was that 1-0, something like that?
Yeah, it was 1-0.
Okay.
It was 1-0 West Ham, and then prior to that, like I think they beat Crystal Palace and beat it. Anyways, not playing great. Stevie G, got to get the boys going. Doesn't have them going at all. Man City, on the other hand, 6-0. They've scored 4-2. It was 3-3 against Newcastle, and they beat Bournemouth 4-0. They've been, aside from that Newcastle match, they beat every single team by at least 2 goals, and quite frankly, just gave it to Nottingham earlier this week. So we can get those Manchester City Manchester City minus 1.5. So they win by 2 goals as hits, and we're getting minus 105. You combine the two, you get plus 290 odds.
Okay. Are you worried at all about rotation?
No, I mean, Manchester City are like the deepest team in Europe. Like they if Haaland doesn't for some reason play after he just scored or if he doesn't start, he'll come on if he doesn't start. But they have Julian Alvarez who just scored 2 goals.
Nottingham Forest is deeper than Manchester City.
That's all right, deepest. I mean, roster maybe volume from
Manchester City are so deep,
but not a quality standpoint.
That they had to add Manuel Akanji as a backup center back. That's how deep they are.
I mean, pretty good ad, right? But
yeah, he's all right.
I wish I could add a 17 million pound center back like that to as my 5th center back, but not everybody can do that. But I still just think Manchester City are going to dominate Villa here. And especially Douglas Luiz, maybe off to Arsenal. We'll see. But I like these odds. And I did this previously, but I took in a Manchester City match, I took Newcastle minus 1 or plus 1.5.
You went the opposite route.
Yeah, I went the opposite route here. So I still think, I like what I'm seeing out of Man City at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to not bet on Man City with how they're playing. I considered Aston Villa. I don't know. I was thinking like a +2, but even those odds aren't that good. So, I think they're going to put up a fight. They put up a fight at Arsenal. They still have the players. It's just not working for them right now. I think they're going to eventually figure it out. It's just not working in their attack. Really, is kind of what it comes down to. Maybe that'll change against John Stones and company. But yeah, Villa at home. But as I said, you can't. It's hard to bet against Man City. So I mentioned this about Manchester United earlier, but now they have McTominay, Eriksen, Casemiro, and Fred on the field right now with Bruno Fernandes. It's a complete 5-5-0 formation from Ten Hag here. So do you agree with me now that he prefers? What other managers just gonna be pulling out 5 defensive midfielders here with?
I mean, this is your bet, right?
My bet's gonna hit. So
I don't know, like the in-game tactics. They got to get a result here. They're away in the Premier League. If you got to bring on 2 or 3 Premier or holding midfielders to do it, that's what you do.
Are you
I don't think
feeling
that's their.
okay?
I don't think that's their style of play per se. But
Are you
I,
feeling
I
okay with Leicester double chance? Are you okay right now?
no, there's 4 minutes left. I don't think that's going to hit.
I'm just looking at your record, and I'm just wondering how you're feeling right now.
I mean, to be specific, I don't feel great about this bet hitting. There's 4 minutes left, and they're down a goal. So we need some like James Madison heroics, I think.
Yeah, he's still out
I'd
there.
be feeling better if this game was tied or even, but that's okay.
It's all right.
That's why we're out. That's why we're out here. We're just chatting a little bit. We're going through the matches and
It's all right. You got a busy weekend ahead, so but yeah, that's all we got. I'll read off our parlay one more time. I got no on both teams to score between Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth, and Chris has Manchester City -1.5 at Aston Villa. That comes out to +290 on the parlay. So there you go. Our team parlay is going to be 2 and 4, and I think if this hits, we're going to be in the positive money. So there you go. Chris, we got to get out of here. You can find Chris at CHRON8 on Twitter. I am at Zdroik, and yeah, I mean, we'll be back next week. We got Champions League next week. We will not have a betting show on that. We need a break. We need a break from all of these matches, talking about all these matches, giving all these bets, giving you guys winners. I'm sorry, but if you want winners, just message us on Twitter. We'll give you winners. Okay, that's fine. Not message us. Just add us. Okay, we'll figure it out. Figure it out. Chris, thanks for joining me, and to everyone, good luck on your bets.
Thanks, Adam.